Carlos Nelson with What's Up Wichita, and today we have a special guest because What's Up Wichita has been down for a minute, and we're reinvigorating. We're getting ready to start doing big things in Wichita, and our first guest is Mr. James Barfield. How you doing, Mr. Barfield?
Doing just fine, sir. And I want to first of all say thank you for inviting me, and glad to be here.
Uh, Tell our audience, as well as myself, a little bit about who you are and what's your association with uh, Wichita. And let's go back to your high school all the way to where you're at now.
Okay, basically, I'm a Wichita native, born and raised here. Went to schools here. Uh, Graduated from East High School here in 1958. Since that time, I went to work for a short period of time. I was started at a bowling alley here. We had a local black bowling alley, and I went to work there as a pin setter. Worked my way up to being a nighttime manager. I left there in 1963, and I went to Boeing. Worked at Boeing for 3 years. Got laid off twice, and I said that's enough of that. So I left that, and I went into the sales field, and I had a very successful sales career. I was the first black new car salesman in the city of Wichita. Uh, I did that for 3 years, and out of 12 salesmen, I ranked number three consistently. When I left that, I went to become the first black radio time salesman in the city of Wichita. And the same thing there, I was number three out of 10 salespeople. So then I decided to basically to go into business for myself. And in 1975, I began as a distributor for a wealthy black cosmetics pioneer out of Chicago called S.B. Fuller. I became a distributor for that company for 4 years, and then I launched my own cosmetic brand, which was designed for black women. I launched that, and we were successful in selling that line of cosmetics in 22 states. And then at the end of that, my wife started a boutique, a clothing boutique, which was the most successful black clothing boutique ever in the city of Wichita. Now, then I kind of got involved in speaking out, becoming an activist. In 1980, I was involved in what the city called a mini riot here in the black community, and I suffered a similar beating to what Rodney King experienced. Um, but I never gave up on looking out, speaking out, and standing up for my people. So I've been doing that ever since that time. And I just want to show you a couple real quickly. In 1992, I negotiated a $50 million commitment from the largest bank in the state of Kansas because I had accused them of redlining. And of course, they denied it, but I filed a complaint with the OCC there in Kansas City. And at that time, they were attempting to purchase some banks in Oklahoma. Well, my complaint says to the OCC, do not give them permission to purchase other banks until they are satisfying their CRA commitments here in the city of Wichita. And so I was able to bring them to the table, and we negotiated. And like I said, at first they were in total denial, but I had facts on my side. I had documentation. So we then negotiated a 50, like I said, a 50. Actually, it started off as a 50 million. It turned out to be a $52 million commitment to lend money to black homeowners, black churches, black businesses, and black contractors. Now, so I have been very active. In 2008, I sued a Commerce Bank, which is based in Kansas City, Commerce Bank. I sued them for discrimination, and I won a six-figure settlement from them. Okay, so I've been active in this, and then, matter of fact, I just want to show you this. Last year, I formed a nonprofit,
Scoot it
Kansas
over a little bit.
Advocate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you couldn't see
Okay,
the Kansas. No,
okay,
put it
yeah.
in the front of the camera. Yeah. You should go to the left. No, you the wrong way. The, go to your right. Go to your right. More to the right. More.
Left them up.
Come more to the right.
Okay, left then.
All right. All the way. Kansas. All right. Back it up a little bit. All right. There we go.
Okay.
And what's that about?
Well, basically what we said, we have in Wichita, we have a void in the Black community in terms of leadership. We have a lot of things that are accepted because of the fact that we don't have a voice. We don't speak out. Give you an example. The last month, 30 days, we've been fighting with the city council to establish a non-discrimination ordinance for African Americans, Asian Americans, disabled people, LGBTs, and whatever. Now, the first meeting, there was about 12 speakers there advocating for the passage of this ordinance. Only one of them was from the Black community. They passed it. They passed it on the first reading with a concept that they would have a second reading on it, and they wanted to hear from more people. So 2 weeks later, they had the second meeting, and there was only two Blacks, myself and a state senator that were there. So basically, at that meeting, they postponed this thing for 90 days. So my objective right now is to get 30 to 40, maybe even 50 Black people to go and stand up for Blacks, because basically this thing, the LGBT community has taken the lead on this. And as I spoke to them, racial discrimination comes in different forms. It's not the same for everybody. And what they experience is not the same discrimination that I experience or we experience. So basically what my organization is for is to stand up for discrimination, people that don't have a voice all across the state. That's why I call it the Kansas Advocates. And right now, we are, just say this right quick, right now we have filed a complaint with the U.S. Civil Rights Division of Education about a school district here in Kansas that has been discriminating, using the N-word, calling students everything, disrespecting these with no punishment and no consequences. So we filed that suit, and that suit has been, I'm sorry, it wasn't a suit. We made that complaint to the Civil Rights Division about 30 days ago. And so those are the kinds of things that I want to pursue, that I've been pursuing as an individual, but now I want to pursue them as a group, as an organization. But not an organization. Matter of fact, I'm very selective about who I bring on. I don't want talkers. I want doers. See, talk does not bring about any change, okay? So that's what we're doing. Now, final thing I'll say to you is in March, which was about 4 months ago, I was given the Person of the Year Award. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this was by the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office, okay? So I was awarded that. So I've been very active. I don't hold my tongue.
We're gonna have to get the Sheriff's Department on, because we have a Black sheriff here, Daryl Forte and Cascade Media Group. We reached out with them over the 221, and he has one of his sergeants come on at least once or twice a month and talk about what's going on, and then he comes on, and we don't mix words. So sure. I'm saying, because first of all, I tell them all, I'm only interested in what you're doing for the Black people. Not that I don't care about the other people, but sure. We're a Black network, and the other people have, and when I say the other people, I'm not being flippant. The majority community, they own 99 and 100% of all forms of media. And right. I don't take it well when people act like I'm doing something wrong by exclusively somewhat highlighting what's going on in the Black community, not just here in Kansas City, around the world. And so sure. With that being said, I want to talk to you about politics, and you that's where you left off, saying some things about city council and what have you. How many what are your people called down there? Aldermen, councilmen, what
councilmen.
Councilmen. All yes. Right. How many do you have?
7. Well, there's 6. 6 and a mayor. I'm
All
sorry.
right. What districts? How much representation on that council the black districts have, and how many?
One.
One.
Yes.
And so really, the majority community can do anything they want on the council, or I'm saying push things through, or how does that work? How do y'all get real representation?
Well, that's been rather difficult, okay? Because basically what happens, when you have 7 people, it takes a majority of 4 to be able to get anything done. So when you only have 1 black, you have to have somebody that is very progressive, that can reach the other side and and convince the other side that what they're proposing is not only beneficial to the black community, but it's also beneficial to the city as a whole. And so you have to be able to utilize your voice and be strong and sway 3 more people to join you to pass something. Now, be honest, be frank, like I said, I don't pull punches. We have not had that in the past. As a matter of fact, there have been times when I have been a little bit disillusioned about the very idea of district elections.
I
Because
think it's me. When you look at the elections around the country, and then when I look at Republican, Democrats, and you look at how the Republicans, the maps, they don't have no people. All these people live in the country, but they control the country. They control all of the resources and what have you. So I don't go with that. You mentioned the LGBT community and all of that. I don't go with none of that. I'm not mad at them. I'm not for all of this diversity at the expense of black people.
Sure.
Because all of this WMBT and MB, all of that, white people don't have to prove that they white to get a contract. All of those things are there to stop us. And then there was no gay movement per se, or no transit. 50 years ago, we were getting civil rights, and it was minority stuff. And then they put everybody in this pot to dilute what really should have been coming to the people that built this country. And where I stand, as I told you off camera, I don't care whether people like what I say. The truth is the truth, and most people don't want to hear that. What political might do you have down there? Your senators and the people that represent black people in Wichita, or do you have any?
First of all, let me say this to you relating to what you just said. You see, my feeling has always been, I don't care if you're offended by what I say, but if your foot is on my neck and I ask you to take it off, if that offends you, so be it. Now, I do everything I do. I don't care about being liked. I just want to be respected.
That's me.
So there you go. Okay. So now to answer your question, when you don't have a voice, you don't have any power. Okay. And so one of the things, as I just mentioned here about this ordinance, black people don't speak up. We don't have the leadership that we should have here in Wichita that will speak up for the community, And so there's a big void. And this is why I started this organization. And I'm not afraid. Like I said, I don't care who it is. I don't care how much money you have. I was always taught that Bill Gates and any of those other guys, they put their pants on every morning just like I do, one leg at a time. Okay? None of them can walk on water. They might have more assets than I have, but they're no more men than I am. And that's the way I look at it.
What do you see about the black community? We talked off camera, and I said that Cascade Media, we're interviewing these black presidents of the HBCUs, and I told you I have private conversations with them after they get off the air about the condition of the black community around the country, that we're on a nonprofit footing. The assessment that I gave you, that our political leadership nationally and locally, they're basically hamstrung, and they've gone to like myself, but I went to a HBCU, and my classmate Joyce Beatty, who is the chairwoman of the Black Congressional Caucus uh, went there, but still we're being educated in a Eurocentric, from a Eurocentric viewpoint to a
Sure,
degree. If you went to a Black university, that knocks some of it off.
sure.
But my assessment of the 1/3 of the Black community that have all of these degrees, they have really forgotten about the bottom 3/4 of the community. And when I say forgotten, you said you didn't need words. They give words to comfort and to their outrage or their connection with the bottom 3/4 of our community. But when it comes to doing something substantially, like speaking up, like really strategizing to alleviate some of the situation, because it's real simple. All we have to do is come together on any
Hmm.
issue and let the majority community do what they want, and then have the deciding votes. Even with that one council person, when
Hmm.
things get really hot, they can be the deciding vote. And
Sure.
and that's how the Black community should be conducting its business, but we haven't. What do you have to say on that?
Well, basically, here's what I have to say about that. You know, I oftentimes say, and it disappoints me when these politicians select a black person who's supposed to speak for us, but who does not associate with us. You know, I'll give you a prime example. The governor of Kansas last year appointed a panel for diversity, inclusion, and civil rights, or something like that. Now, every member that she picked was picked because of their job title. Okay, and many of those people were college professors. Okay, attorney general, whatever, lawyers, whatever. Well, these people do not have any connection with the working class black people. Okay, they don't even talk to them. So how can they be an effective representation of the issues that we face and we're confronted with? They didn't have not one single person there that had boots on the ground. They didn't have one single person that would ever be seen at a George Floyd rally. Okay. I mean, so I think it's up to us because of the fact we don't speak out and say, wait a minute, I object to this. You know, I'm going to tell you real quickly. I mentioned a while ago about the Kansas African American Affairs Commission. So from 2015, well, I actually started before 2015. This commission, which was founded in 1997, was very effective for the first 6 or 7 years. After that, and matter of fact, when they were formulated, they were under the umbrella of the Kansas Human Rights Commission. Well, Governor Sebelius comes along and changes them and brings them under the umbrella of the governor and make them the governor's Kansas African American Affairs Commission. Well, there was no oversight when she brought them over. There was no oversight. So basically, for the last 10 years, and I've been fighting this, and I finally got something covered. But for the last 10 years, there was no reporting done to the governor's office, to the legislators, nor to the constituents as to the activities or the accomplishments of this Kansas African American Affairs Commission. Well, finally, after I wrote letters to the governor, letters to the chief of staff, letters to the secretary of appointments, and all that, finally we got some action here just in the last 2 months actually, and we got a new executive director. Now, what I'm saying is that too many African Americans, I talk to African Americans all across the state, they all recognize that this organization was not providing any benefits, even though it's supported by taxpayer dollars. But nobody wanted to speak up
Let me
and
cut you
address the
off
issue.
on that, because that's where I'm at. Uh, this is how I look. The Black educated, the bourgeoisie that always
Mm-hmm.
talking about they speaking out for Black people. They always, the same people are put on the commissions. The same people, the same little organizations get the funding, and
Mm-hmm.
they use the major media to say, "This is your leader. These are your up and coming leaders." I'm like, where the hell they come from?
Yeah.
They don't come from the people. They are Black and they do things, but for the most part, they belong to the Black church and they come to the community in a way that they're sometimes some of them are worse than the white people that are in the 1% because they think that they chosen or something. I have some of them tell me I'm the only one live out here. I'm like, you proud of that?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
You proud of that? I have some of them that I deal with. They taking pictures with all these white business, and this is a white and black thing. And they the only black, and they proud of that. I'm proud of that accomplishment and stuff, but I'm not trying to do it like that. Not when the majority of my community need to see strong black women and men making it on their own, not having to be associated with this one or that one in order for you to make it per se in business. And that's what I find we have. And I'm even getting personal, a bunch of Oreos. And and they black on the outside, but they have the same European values, which are commercialism, materialism, and they really have forgotten whose shoulders they're standing on from the 40s and the 50s. Them people losing their damn lives and not playing about our civil rights. In 1963, we just get the vote, and that's just like right around the corner for a guy like me that's turning 70. I still remember 63. I'm in, think high school, freshman or something. And know what I couldn't ride and stop going down to South Carolina. You better pack your meals, the bathrooms and all of this. For the leadership at this point to forget those sacrifices, and they only deal with them in words, not deeds.
Mr. Nelson, I have a saying, and this goes for black people. The calendar might say this is 2021, but the times say this is still 1964 and 65.
You never
okay,
said
we cannot forget, just because now you can go to work at one of these offices, just because you can drive a new car, okay, just because you can live outside the ghetto, does not mean you're not still black, okay? Does not mean they're still not the same. Look, this is why I said a while ago, I didn't want talkers. See, we're still talking about the same thing we talked about 50 years ago. Discrimination in hiring, discrimination in promoting, discrimination in education, discrimination in housing, redlining, real estate agent steering, all of that, medical discrimination. We had that 50 years ago, we still have it today. Why in the hell are we still talking about an issue, which means while we're talking, we're not progressing? And that's why I said talk does not bring about change, action. And one of the things I must tell you is one of the things we have never ever learned, every other race learns it. Spend your money with your people. Spend your money in the black community. Grow your community. Support black businesses. And I know you've got a problem right there now with a Korean-owned beauty store, which is mistreating and disrespecting black consumers. So, you know, these are the things that we simply must address ourselves. We've got a situation here where the last grocery store that was located in the black community pulled out. So now we're sitting here scrambling and trying to, well, what are we going to do? What are we going? Well, we should have been thinking about that 10 years ago.
And we should have been a worse situation. Leon Supermarket was one of the oldest black supermarkets in the United States. You got 160,000 black people or more here, and they went out of business, and we buy groceries every single day. But you know what the people will say? Oh, somebody was stealing. Oh, I went in and this and that. And I'm like, oh, if all of us had been shopping, there might have been 10 Leons. But again, that's how we look at things. We want to kill the messenger. You know, we want to build our community up, but yet soon as you get enough money, you move out of the community instead of saying, I'm gonna tear this house down, build a new house, or I'm gonna do this or do that. And so it's the same thing with us having this digital media company, and it's being totally underutilized, and it doesn't cost you anything because you can access it on your phone. So
Sure.
with all the negativity, one would say that we discussed, but I feel that they're truths that people want to kill a messenger. I will say on a positive note that I do have hope. I do feel that there's been enough pain put on us that that might change some things in the near future.
Well, I give you a little bit more credit than what I can take for, because I don't necessarily see what you see. I would like to believe, I would like to think that that is the case, but I'm not so sure that I see that right now.
Oh, I don't see it. Oh, hell no. I don't see it. But one of my mentors told me and wanted to break relationships off with me, said that I see you doing too much activism and not enough business. But I didn't want to, because he's older and I got respect, and the man is world renowned in business. I wanted to say my business is my community. So even though I have these different niches and what have you, all of them, if you looking at it from my viewpoint, from the business shows to the health and wellness to the it's all about the community. And I'm like a Reverend Ike. When I was little, I used to hear the people talking about Reverend Ike and Reverend Ike riding in the roses and all of this. And Reverend Ike say, God don't want you to be poor. You ain't got to be poor to praise, you know? And so that's how I look at, you know, we can do it if we do it together. And it's been done. That's why they burn up Tulsa. That's why they burn up Wilmington, because it was done. And we did it all by ourselves.
But you know what? See, we did it then because we had no choice. See, the minute they gave us a choice, we abandoned that mindset. Okay, we abandoned that concept and that mindset. You see, because now they said, okay, you can go over here to eat. You can go over here to this hotel. You can go to this grocery store, whatever. And that's what we started doing. See, so we forgot about from whence we came. All right. And we've never ever went back there. Okay, I can remember the time right here in Wichita where we had Black-owned taxi cab companies, Black hotels.
Same here in Kansas City when I came.
8, 9, or 10 Black-owned grocery stores. We had all of that. You see, and today we don't have any of that. You see, and so we begging somebody to do for us. Okay, that's the whole problem that we have. We have never focused on utilizing our finances properly. You know what I'm saying? And economic development.
I get it. So what would your closing words be? Because we're going to have a real affiliation, and as I said, I'm looking forward to working with you with What's Up Wichita. And what would your closing words be to your audience?
Well, I would say to my audience, let's get it together. And first of all, we have to get ourselves together. We have to change our mindset from thinking white to thinking black. You know, that's the only way you're ever going to grow these black communities. The white community, the first thing they talk about is jobs. When it comes to us, it's welfare. Okay, it's always a handout or giveaway. But for them, it's making a living, earning a decent wage. Okay, we have got to get ourselves in the same mindset that our path to success is through economics. That's it. There's no other way. You have money, you get some respect. Okay, but you spend your money properly, you get some respect. These people right now, these people will take your money and totally disrespect you. Just as the case, like I said, what you have in there with that beauty supply store, and that happens in beauty supply stores all across this country.
Hold it. In Philly, the Panthers and the Muslims, that happened there, they going right to the store.
Yep.
And they're not afraid to speak out. And they like, hey, you can't talk to our women like that. You can't talk to us like that. But again, that's on another level. We will be getting into those type issues in the very near future. What I would like to say to my audience is always, in closing, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
This program is brought to you by 5 Star